Brain fog. You are not suddenly stupid. Your brain is just trying to run a high-speed operating system with 17 tabs open, low battery, and one of them playing mystery music. Brain fog is that moment when you read the same sentence 3 times and still absorb absolutely nothing. You walk into a room and forget why. You open your phone to check one thing, then stare at it like it just asked you a riddle in Latin. The annoying part is, brain fog is not one single problem. It is a symptom, not a personality flaw. Cleveland Clinic lists common causes like lack of sleep, stress, low blood sugar, poor nutrition, hormonal changes, and certain medical conditions. When sleep is bad, your prefrontal cortex, the part that helps with focus, planning, and self-control, does not work as smoothly. When stress stays high, cortisol can keep your brain in threat scanning mode, like a security guard who forgot he was guarding a library. And when blood sugar drops, focus can get shaky because your brain depends heavily on steady fuel. Cleveland Clinic notes low blood sugar can make people feel foggy, nervous, dizzy, or unable to concentrate. That sounds like laziness. It is not. It is more like your mental dashboard lighting up because the system is underslept, underfueled, overloaded, or fighting something in the background. So the smart move is not to insult yourself and call it being dumb. Check the boring basics first: sleep, food, water, stress, movement, and screen overload. If the fog is sudden, severe, keeps getting worse, or comes with other worrying symptoms, get medical help instead of trying to outmotivate biology. Because brain fog is not your brain disappearing. It is your brain waving through the mist saying, "I'm still here. Please stop making me run a whole circus on crumbs and chaos." Constant fatigue. Being tired after one bad night is normal. Being tired after sleeping, resting, sitting, scrolling, drinking coffee, and emotionally negotiating with your pillow is a different beast. That kind of fatigue feels like your body is a phone stuck at 1%, plugged in, and still somehow losing battery. You wake up already defeated. You climb stairs like they insulted your family. You open your laptop and your soul quietly leaves the meeting. The strange part is, rest does not always fix it, because fatigue is not just sleepiness wearing a hoodie. It can come from poor sleep quality, stress, dehydration, low iron, low vitamin B12, thyroid problems, sleep apnea, depression, anxiety, medications, or illness. Your body makes energy using oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside cells. When oxygen delivery is low, metabolism is off, stress hormones stay loud, or sleep keeps getting interrupted, the whole system runs like a factory where half the workers quit. The lights flicker, and the manager is a raccoon with a clipboard. That sounds like laziness. It is not. Constant fatigue is often a dashboard warning light, not a moral failure. So before you attack yourself with another motivational quote written over a mountain, check the boring suspects. Sleep timing, food, hydration, movement, caffeine, stress, and whether your rest is actually just lying in bed, doom scrolling until your brain becomes soup. But if the fatigue keeps going, feels unusual for you, or comes with symptoms like chest pain, shortness of breath, fainting, fever, unexplained weight loss, or daily life getting harder, get checked. Your body is not asking you to push harder. It may be asking why the battery is draining faster than the charger can keep up. Hair shedding. Finding hair in the shower feels personal. Like your scalp looked at your schedule and said, "You know what would make this worse?" But some shedding is normal. Hair does not grow forever like a loyal little plant. Each follicle cycles through growth, transition, rest, and shedding. The growth phase is called anagen. The resting phase is called telogen. Then the old hair falls out so the follicle can reset. Annoying? Yes. Betrayal? Not always. The weird part is the hair falling today may have quit months ago. Intelligent effluvium, stress, illness, fever, surgery, rapid weight changes, hormonal shifts, or some medications can push more hairs into the resting phase. Then, 2 or 3 months later, they start shedding, and you blame today's shampoo like it committed a crime. Cleveland Clinic describes telogen effluvium as shedding that often happens 2 to 3 months after a stressor or body change, and dermatology sources describe it as excessive shedding of resting hairs after a shock to the system. So, if you see extra hair after a rough season, your scalp may not be collapsing. It may be catching up on paperwork from a body-wide emergency meeting. Still, pay attention to the pattern. Diffuse shedding all over is different from bald patches, scalp pain, itching, scaling, or hairline changes. Those deserve a professional look, because hair loss has different causes and the wrong guess can waste time. Do not attack your scalp with every serum the internet sells like you are seasoning a desperate salad. Be gentle with hair, avoid tight pulling styles, support sleep and nutrition, and get checked if shedding is sudden, severe, patchy, or lasts. Because hair shedding is not always your body failing. Sometimes it is your follicles changing shifts, sometimes it is stress arriving late, and sometimes your shower drain is just being dramatic with evidence. Dark circles. Waking up with dark circles feels like your face opened a complaint department overnight. You look in the mirror and somehow your under eyes are telling everyone, this person fought a ghost at 3 a.m. But the annoying part is, sleep is only one suspect. The skin under your eyes is thin, so blood vessels and shadows show through more easily. If you are tired, dehydrated, stressed, congested, or retaining fluid, that area can look darker or puffier. Genetics can also join the party like an uninvited aunt with permanent luggage. Some people naturally have more pigment under the eyes or deeper tear troughs that cast shadows even when they sleep like a well-paid cat. That is why one person can pull an all-nighter and look mildly poetic, while another sleeps 8 hours and still looks like a Victorian orphan in soft lighting. Allergies can make it worse too. Nasal congestion can affect blood flow around the eyes, and rubbing itchy eyes can irritate the skin. Basically, your face is not always exposing your bad choices. Sometimes it is showing thin skin, pigment, shadows, blood vessels, allergies, and the cruel architecture of your skull. So, the move is not to panic buy every eye cream with a gold lid and a name that sounds like a spaceship. Start with the boring things that actually matter. Sleep, hydration, allergy control, sunscreen, and not rubbing your eyes like you are trying to erase a secret. If the dark circles change suddenly, come with swelling, pain, one-sided symptoms, or other health changes, get them checked. Because dark circles are not always proof you are exhausted. Sometimes they are shadows, genetics, blood vessels, and your face wearing tiny under-eye suitcases it never agreed to carry. Tingling feet. That pins and needles feeling is not your foot being dramatic. It is usually your nerves sending messy signals like a bad radio station trapped inside your toes. You know the scene. You sit with one leg folded under you, stand up too fast, and suddenly your foot feels like it downloaded a swarm of electric ants. Most of the time, temporary tingling happens because pressure squeezed nerves or slowed blood flow for a while. Shift position, circulation comes back, the nerves wake up, and your foot throws a tiny tantrum while rebooting. The strange part is that the pain is not really in your foot the way a bruise is. It is a signal problem. Peripheral nerves are the long communication cables between your spinal cord and the rest of your body. When they are compressed, irritated, or undersupplied, the message can turn into tingling, numbness, burning, or that fizzy TV static feeling under the skin. That is why your foot can feel like a haunted walkie-talkie after sitting badly for 10 minutes. But repeated tingling is worth noticing. Blood sugar problems, vitamin B12 deficiency, circulation issues, nerve compression, injuries, or some medications can all affect nerve signals. Not every tingle is a disaster. Sometimes your foot is just yelling, "Why did you sit on me like furniture?" But if it keeps happening, spreads, feels painful, causes weakness, or does not fade, that signal deserves attention. So do not treat your feet like glitchy floor accessories. Move around. Avoid staying in one compressed position too long, and listen when the static keeps returning. Because tingling feet are not random drama. They are nerves tapping the microphone, blood flow checking the wiring, and your body saying, "Hey, maybe stop folding me like a lawn chair." Eye twitch. Your eyelid is not possessed. It is not trying to send Morse code to a secret government satellite. It is usually just a tiny muscle getting overstimulated and throwing a tantrum on your face. An eye twitch often comes from small involuntary contractions around the eyelid, especially the orbicularis oculi muscle, which helps close the eye. Most of the time, the usual suspects are boring but powerful. Lack of sleep, stress, caffeine, dry eyes, eye strain, or staring at screens until your eyeballs feel like two overcooked grapes. The annoying part is how personal it feels. You can be sitting in class, talking to someone seriously, or pretending to understand a meeting, and suddenly your eyelid starts tap dancing like it knows something you do not. The signal is usually harmless, but it is still a signal. Your nervous system may be more irritated than usual, your eye surface may be dry, or the tiny muscles around the lid may be firing too easily. It is not your eye breaking. It is more like one small employee in the face department got too much coffee and started pressing buttons. So the move is not to slap your eyelid or stare angrily into a mirror like you can intimidate biology. Rest your eyes. Sleep properly. Reduce caffeine if it is high. Blink more when using screens. Use artificial tears if your eyes are dry. And if twitching lasts a long time, gets worse, closes the eye fully, affects other parts of the face, or comes with weakness or vision changes, get it checked. Because an eye twitch is not usually a disaster. It is your eyelid waving a tiny white flag and saying, "Please stop making me work overtime under fluorescent lights." Sugar cravings. That sudden need for something sweet is not always no discipline. Sometimes it is your brain walking into the kitchen wearing a tiny crown and demanding emergency candy. Sugar is fast fuel, and your body knows it. When you eat sweet foods, glucose enters the bloodstream, insulin helps move it into cells, and your brain also gets a quick reward signal from dopamine pathways. Translation: sugar does not just feed you, it applauds you. That is why a cookie can feel less like food and more like a tiny emotional support employee with chocolate chips. The sneaky part is that cravings often get louder when your system is stressed, tired, underfed, or running on unstable meals. If you skip food for too long, sleep badly, or ride the blood sugar roller coaster, your brain starts searching for the fastest rescue button. And sugar is basically a big red button with frosting on it. But cravings are not only biological, they are also trained. Your brain remembers patterns. Movie means snacks, sadness means ice cream, deadline means just one sweet drink that somehow becomes a dessert parade. Over time, cues can start the craving before your body actually needs energy. Your brain sees the bakery, smells the cinnamon, and suddenly acts like a detective who has solved the case. We must enter. So the move is not to shame yourself like you failed a moral exam. Make the signal less desperate. Eat enough real food, include protein and fiber, sleep better when possible, and notice the cue before it becomes autopilot. If you want something sweet, have it on purpose instead of waking up mid-cookie like a raccoon at a crime scene. Because sugar cravings are not just weakness, they are fuel signals, reward circuits, habits, stress, and your brain occasionally being seduced by a muffin with excellent marketing. Muscle cramps. A muscle cramp is not your leg working hard. It is your muscle locking itself into a tiny hostage situation. 1 second you are sleeping peacefully, and the next your calf turns into a stone sculpture with anger issues like a small demon grabbed your leg and whispered, "Let's make this everyone's problem." What is happening is a sudden, involuntary contraction. Normally, your nerves tell muscle fibers when to contract and when to relax. But during a cramp, that signal gets messy. The muscle contracts and then refuses to let go like a printer jam made of meat. The usual suspects are overuse, fatigue, dehydration, electrolyte shifts, poor circulation, or holding one position too long. Sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium help with nerve and muscle signaling, so when the system is stressed or imbalanced, the muscle can become more excitable. The weird part is how dramatic cramps feel compared to how small the trigger can be. A hard workout, a hot day, standing too long, or sleeping with your foot pointed like a ballet dancer in a nightmare can be enough. Your nervous system and muscle fibers basically lose the calm conversation and start yelling in all caps. So the move is simple but not glamorous. Gently stretch the cramped muscle, massage it, move slowly, drink fluids, and let the muscle relax instead of trying to fight it like a medieval duel. If cramps are severe, frequent, come with swelling, weakness, numbness, or happen without a clear reason, that is worth paying attention to. Because a cramp is not your body being mysterious. It is a muscle getting stuck on contract, your nerves misfiring, and your leg briefly turning into a very committed fist. Cold hands. Your fingers can feel like they left your body and joined a freezer cult. But most of the time, your body is not broken. It is just a selfish little survival machine saying fingers are optional, organs are not. When you get cold, stressed, or startled, your sympathetic nervous system can tell blood vessels near the skin to tighten. This is called vasoconstriction. It reduces blood flow to your fingers and toes, so more heat stays near your core, where the important equipment lives. Heart, lungs, brain, all the expensive internal furniture. Your hands become the neglected interns of the body, standing outside the warm office with a clipboard and no jacket. The strange part is that stress can do this too. You might be in a normal room, not climbing a frozen mountain, but one scary email, awkward conversation, or deadline can make your body act like winter just attacked. Adrenaline rises, blood vessels tighten, and suddenly your hands feel like two polite ghosts attached to your wrists. Poor circulation, low body weight, anemia, thyroid issues, smoking, certain medications, or Raynaud's phenomenon can also make this more noticeable. But occasional icy fingers are often just temperature control, not a personal betrayal. Your body is prioritizing the engine room over the gift shop. So before you panic, check the simple stuff. Warm the whole body, move your fingers, stretch your wrists, avoid gripping your phone like it owes you money, and notice whether stress is part of the pattern. If your fingers turn very pale or blue, go numb, hurt badly, or the problem keeps happening in a strong or unusual way, that signal deserves attention. Because this is not just bad circulation. It is blood vessels tightening, nerves reacting, and your body making a brutal little budget decision. Keep the core warm now, apologize to the fingers later. Dry mouth. Your tongue should not feel like it spent the night sleeping in a sandbox. When your mouth gets dry, it is usually because the cleaning crew is understaffed. Saliva is not just mouth water. It is a whole maintenance system. It moistens food so you can swallow, starts digestion with enzymes like amylase, protects teeth by helping neutralize acids, and washes away tiny food particles before bacteria turn them into a crime scene. Basically, saliva is your mouth's janitor, security guard, and soup assistant, all wearing one very wet uniform. The sneaky part is how many things can reduce it. Dehydration can do it. Stress can do it. Mouth breathing can do it. Caffeine, alcohol, smoking, certain medications, and some health conditions can also make your mouth feel dry. That is why it often shows up at the worst possible time. During a presentation, on a date, in an interview, or right when you need to say one normal sentence and your mouth turns into an abandoned desert gas station. Your nervous system can make it worse too. When stress activates fight or flight mode, digestion and saliva production can slow down. Your body is basically saying, "We are surviving danger right now. The sandwich department can wait." Very heroic, extremely inconvenient. When saliva drops, speaking feels sticky, swallowing feels harder, breath can smell worse, and your teeth lose some of their normal protection. So do not treat dry mouth like just an annoying texture. Sip water steadily, breathe through your nose when you can, limit drying triggers, chew sugar-free gum to stimulate saliva, and pay attention if it keeps happening. If it is persistent, severe, or comes with pain, sores, trouble swallowing, or major changes, that signal deserves attention. Because dry mouth is not just thirst, it is saliva, nerves, hydration, breathing, and your mouth's tiny cleaning crew waving a mop and saying, "We are outnumbered in here." Which sign surprised you most? Tell us in the comments. And stay tuned for the next video by liking and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching.